There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, show recap prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show. I'm live with your NXT recap. What a banger, NXT tonight. Sorry. As we're on our way to NXT Great American Bash. So before we get started, we will go over the 7 matches that are official for NXT Great American Bash. WWE's stepping it up this week. This coming up weekend, we have 6 matches at Night of Champions, and we are going to have. Well, before I do that, let me go ahead and repost that I am live. For a show predictions. The prediction show will be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We will be predicting all 6 matches on the Night of Champions card, as well as the 7 matches on Great American Bash. And then we will be predicting the AEW Forbidden Door PLE. So a total combined of 22 matches tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys are tuned into that. Set the notification bell on and come join us. So let me retweet this stuff. Hopefully you guys had a good Tuesday. I don't know what I'm doing. I hit the wrong button. All right, so let's go ahead and retweet that we're live. Leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought about the NXT Go Home show before NXT Great American Bash, and then I will go over before we get started on everything that happened tonight on NXT. I will go over the card with you guys. As I was saying before, tomorrow 6 p.m. Eastern time, we will be predicting the NXT Great American Bash, the WWE Night of Champions, and the AEW Forbidden Door starting at about 5:45 to 5:50 p.m. Eastern, as we will be covering all 3 PLEs right before Queens of WWE. I must say Queens of WWE at 8 p.m. Eastern time with the host Colin and Anthony. I will be coming on tomorrow as a special guest. So let me go ahead and post it. I'm live. And I have to get the promotion out tomorrow for the prediction show. All right. So let's go ahead and go over the match card for NXT Great American Bash. There were no matches announced for NXT next week, which is not a big surprise. With the PLE coming up this coming up Sunday, I believe it's at, let's see what the card says. 7 p.m. Eastern time will be the Great American Bash. So for the NXT Men's Championship, we will have Tony D, if he can still see, defending the NXT Championship against Naraku. For the NXT Men's North American Championship, Miles Bourne will defend against Tavion Heights. Shiloh Hill will go one-on-one with Tristan Angels, which was added tonight. Saquon Sugars goes one-on-one with Dion Lennox for the Women's NXT North American Championship. and which was just added tonight. The newly crowned NXT Women's North American Champion Zarya will defend against the former NXT Women's North American Champion Tatum Paxley. Ariana Grace made her way all the way through the WWE NXT Women's Speed title tournament. First off by defeating Layla Diggs in the first round, and then tonight she beat Izzy Dame to qualify to face Ren Sinclair at NXT Great American Bash for the Women's NXT Speed Championship. And then, last but not least, we have for the Women's NXT Championship, Lola Vice will defend against Kendall Gray with Kalani Jordan in the wing. So 7-match card for NXT Great American Bash. And that will be coming up Sunday, June the 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. What's going on, Kyle? Good to see you. I love Kendall and Lola's contract sign. Yeah, so it was good stuff. As we had talked a little bit about on the phone previously, I'm a little bit worried about the outcome of that match. I'm hoping that Kalani doesn't. She should be next in line to get that title shot, but I'm hoping that she's not the reason for the winner of that highly anticipated match. But she has been a focal point of the story. So you never know. There's a possibility that she could be. We'll see. So I have tweeted that I'm live. Had a pretty good showing last night for the Raw recap. Let me check. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me get to my notes, and we will get started. This is the Go Home NXT Recap Show, live here on the EVP Show. Tuesday, June the 23rd, 2026. We have 8 days left in the month of June, and we will be rolling over to July. The summer is upon us. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm just pulling up my notes. All right. So tonight's we have Wade Barrett on commentary tonight, which was very unordinary for Wade Barrett to be on NXT as a commentator. But tonight's WWE NXT promises an action-packed night live from the Capitol Wrestling Center, the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. This is the WWE NXT Great American Bash Go Home Show, where we will see the men's WWE Evolve champion Aaron Rourke defend his title against Mr. England himself, Tristan Angels. Tristan Angels will have his first match on the NXT PLE, where he will face Shiloh Hill this coming Sunday. Plus, the Collins Izzy Dame will face Birthright's Ariana Grace in the finals to see in the WWE Women's Speed Championship tournament to see who will go on to Great American Bash to face Ren Sinclair for that Speed Championship. Also, we will see one-on-one EK Prosper going one-on-one with Keanu Carver. In tag team action, we will see the former NXT Tag Team Champions, Hank Walker and Tank Ledger versus Birthright, Uriah Connors, and Shannon Stacks Lorenzo. Then we have a tag team match, Super Sean Legacy and Dorian Van Doo versus the Cullen, Sean Spears and Nico Vance. Dark Stage Deion Lennox and Saquon Sugar will have a face-to-face. Then we have the WWE NXT Women's Championship Great American Bash contract signing with the WWE NXT Women's Champion Lola Bliss and Ren QCC's Kendall Gray. And then the WWE NXT Champion Great American Bash contract signing with WWE NXT Men's Champion Tony D and Naraku. So the show opens up with, on commentary, we have Vic Joseph and Wade Barrett from SmackDown. You see Tony D'Angelo ask Robert Stone if Naraku has signed the contract. Robert Stone says he hasn't, and we will have the contract signings tonight. Robert Stone then says he does not want Tony to get out of line. Tony then stops Aaron Rourke, and he wishes him luck and says he has heard good things about him. Aaron then thanks Tony for his kind words. Aaron Rourke then makes his way down to the ring for the first match of the night, followed by Tristan Angels. This is going to be for the WWE Men's Evolve Championship. Aaron Rourke defends against Mr. England himself, Tristan Angels. So both men are in the ring. The match starts off with both men locking up. Aaron Rourke then slaps Tristan Angels across his face, and he follows it up with a shoulder tackle. Aaron Rourke then applies a side headlock. Tristan Angels then hits an uppercut. Angels then drops his shoulder into the midsection of the champion Aaron Rourke. Rourke fights back with the missile drop kick, goes for the pin, but Tristan kicks out at 2. Tristan Angels then hears Shallow Hill's laugh. Shallow Hill was laughing in the background and gets distracted. The fight then spills to the outside. Back in the ring, Aaron Rourke hits Tristan Angels with a neck breaker, but then he goes for a kick, but he misses it. Tristan Angels then slams Aaron Rourke's face into the mat. Tristan Angels then hits a clothesline, goes for the pinfall, but Aaron kicks out at 2. Tristan Angels then follows it up with an Irish whip. Tristan Angels then sends Aaron Rourke into the steel post. Aaron Rourke then tries to fight back with a series of clotheslines, and he follows it up with a kick. Aaron Rourke then catches Tristan Angels midair, and he hits a fall-away slam. Aaron Rourke then fires back and hits a big back body drop. Aaron Rourke follows it up with the code breaker, goes for the pin, but it's only for a count of 2. Tristan Angels then misses a pump kick. Aaron Rourke is now up on the top rope, and then Tristan Angel hits a kick, sending Aaron Rourke to the outside. Someone then drags Tristan Angels from under the ring. I wonder who that could be. Could it be Shallow Hill? Wink, wink. Tristan Angels is distracted by someone trying to pull him out from under the rope, which 100% was Shallow Hill. But so back in the ring, we see Aaron Rourke back in the ring, super kicks Tristan Angels, and he follows it up with an over the rainbow for the 1, 2, 3. And the winner of the match, and still your WWE Men's Evolve Champion, Aaron Rourke. So good match there. Aaron Rourke, if you guys have not seen him, he is the men's champion on Evolve. He is definitely one step closer to making that transition over, I believe, when he drops that title over to the men's NXT roster. So good match, good opening match there. So then we see Tony D'Angelo and Robert Stone, and they greet Naraku in the parking lot to get the contract signed. Naraku says he wants to give Tony the contract himself. Robert Stone says Naraku has been in trouble since he arrived. Tony then opens the contract, and a fireball goes into his face, completely explodes into his face. Crazy stuff there. But Naraku did warn Tony D last week that evil was coming. Naraku just set the NXT title contract completely on fire. We then see an ambulance arrive at the WWE Performance Center to take care of Tony D'Angelo, and the ambulance leaves. Will Tony D'Angelo be able to compete in the NXT Men's Championship match coming up this Sunday at NXT Great American Bash? Prayers going up for Tony D, which we will see him later on in the program. Interesting stuff there. I wonder if Tony D is going to wrestle Sunday with a lot of bandage and stuff over his face when he faces Naraku Sunday at Great American Bash. So we then see Saquon Sugars, and he's waiting for Dion Lennox. And Dion Lennox makes his way down to the ring. Dion Lennox says he has already decided how the Great American Bash is going to go. Saquon Sugars then says he wants him one-on-one. Saquon Sugars then says he recalls Dark State putting him through the announce desk. Saquon then says he doesn't move scared, he moves smart. Sugars then says he just made sure it's just him and the head of the snake in the middle of the ring at Great American Bash, so there will be no interference. Which is why he took out the other Dark State members. He wants it to be just one-on-one with him and Dion Lennox. Saquon Sugars then says he wonders if he let down Lennox. Sugars then said Lennox started acting like a leader. Sugars then says NXT needed him to be in the position that Lennox was given. Saquon then calls Lennox another pretender trying to take his spot. Dion Lennox says Dark State was never supposed to have Saquon Sugars. Dion Lennox promises to leave Saquon Sugars in the past at the Great American Bash. Saquon then says there is no Dark State without him. Saquon then says Dion Lennox knew he was the glue holding Dark State together. Saquon then says he doesn't think Dion Lennox can even lace his boots. Lennox then says he knows Sugars and the WWE Universe never saw it because he never showed them his other side. Dion Lennox then says Saquon can't do anything on his own without second guessing. Dion then says dropping Saquon was not a mistake, but a correction. Dion Lennox then calls Saquon Sugars his own worst enemy. Dion Lennox then says there is going to come a moment when he will hesitate at the Great American Bash. Dion Lennox then vows to expose Saquon Sugars this Sunday. Dion Lennox then says Saquon Sugars' name is already signed on the dotted line of his death warrant, and he will be the stamp. And it will be stamped, signed, and delivered. Dion Lennox with some very harsh words for Saquon Sugars. As Dion and Saquon Sugars will go one-on-one Sunday at NXT Great American Bash. So we then see the former NXT Tag Team Champions, Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. We see Hank and Tank with Matt Matthews. And he wonders what he is doing here tonight. Tank says there are three of them outside and one of you. But then we see the Vanity Project in the background talking to Robert Stone. So we see Miles Bourne, the men's NXT North American champion, as he will be defending the title Sunday at Great American Bash against Tavion Heights. Miles Bourne says his entire life he has been uncomfortable. Miles says he was a man with no direction in the NQCC, but he knew what he had to do. Miles Bourne then says Tavion Heights is his brother, but it feels like Heights didn't wish he banked on himself. Tavion then says he found a brother for life when he started teaming with Miles Bourne. Tavion then says he knew that Miles Bourne would be a success. Tavion then says you didn't do it all on your own. Tavion then says Miles Bourne became champion and he got pushed aside. Tavion then says he will not, and I mean will not, be forgotten. Tavion Heights then says he is going to prove who he is, and when he wins on Sunday, Miles Bourne then says he will be walking out of the Great American Bash showing he made the right choice. Ren Sinclair then walks up. Ren Sinclair tells Tavion Heights how to preserve themselves. Sorry about that, guys. I clicked the wrong button and all of my notes went away. All right, so Ren Sinclair tells Tavion to preserve themselves. Tavion Heights and says everyone else has something. Kendall Gray shows up, the NXT Women's #1 contender for Lola Vice's championship, and asks who Ren Sinclair thinks will win. Ren Sinclair says it doesn't matter because she is happy to be champion. They then talk about how to celebrate each other's victories on Sunday. It's like they're going to get a double cake. Double cake for Ren Sinclair and Kendall Gray. Both of them are walking out of Great American Bash as champions, which I don't think Ren Sinclair is going to retain. I don't. So Birthright then make their way down to the ring for the next match of the night, followed by the former NXT Tag Team Champions, Hank Walker, Tank Ledger, and accompanied by Matt Matthews. So there's going to be Hank and Tank versus Birthright, Uriah Connors, and Shannon Stacks Lorenzo. So the match starts off with Uriah Connors and Tank Ledger. After a back and forth, Hank Walker takes over the match. Shannon Stacks then enters the fray and knocks Tank Ledger off the apron. Birthright is now in control. Shannon Stacks then drops Tank Walker to his knees. Hank Walker then tries to fight back with a series of chops, and he follows it up with a clothesline. Ledger then comes in. Uriah Connors then tries to interfere, but Walker and Ledger send him to the outside. We then see Walker and Ledger wiping out Birthright with a double suicide dive. Back in the ring, Walker and Ledger hit a splash to Uriah Connors in the corner. Walker then follows it up with a standing splash, but only for a count of 2. Stacks and takes Walker to the outside, and he drops it on the floor. Back in the ring, Uriah Connors continues to beat down on Walker. Uriah Connors then launches Stacks into Walker. Staxton applies a rear chin lock. Staxton hits a clubbing blow to the side of the jaw. Hank Ledger then comes in. Ledger then takes the fight to Birthright. Ledger then hits a crossbody off the turnbuckle. Hank Ledger then tosses Stacks on the turnbuckle and sends him to the outside. Hank Ledger then takes out Birthright. Back in the ring, Uriah Connors hits Walker with an uppercut, and then Staxton follows it up with an elbow from the top. But then Ledger breaks up the pinfall. Both teams are now in the middle of the ring trading strikes, but then Uriah Connors then super kicks Walker. Ledger then delivers a big knee to Uriah Connors. Walker catches Stacks midair and drop kicks him. Uriah Connors then hits a swanton bomb halfway across the ring, and then all four men are in the ring. And this is where the numbers game comes to play in this matchup. Charlie Dempsey then accidentally takes out Lexus King, one of his members of Birthright. Back in the ring, Hank Walker hits Shannon Stacks with a power slam for the 1, 2, 3. So the interference by Birthright ended up coming back to bite them in the ass. What a fight with those two tag teams. But the winners of the tag team match is Hank and Tank, Hank Walker and Tank Ledger, as they defeat Uriah Connors and Shannon Stacks Lorenzo from the Birthright. So then we do go backstage with Sarah Schreiber. And she is with Shiloh Hill, who will face Tristan Angel Sunday at Great American Bash. Sarah asked about what happened in Tristan Angel's match. Shiloh says he was more nervous for the pageant than any match. Shiloh then says he had to open himself up, and they are not done. Shiloh then says now that he is cleared, things will get worse for Tristan Angels. Shiloh then says he will make Tristan Angels regret what he did to him. Shiloh then laughs. That creepy ass laugh by Shiloh Hill. As Shiloh Hill will go one-on-one with Tristan Angels at NXT Great American Bash. It's coming up Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern. So then we see the NXT champion that just got opened up the contract, and the fire exploded in his face with the ambulance coming out to assist on Tony D. Tony D'Angelo is being attended to by the medical team. There's still no update on the condition of the men's NXT champion. We then go to the office for the contract signing for the NXT Women's Championship between the number one contender, Kendall Gray, and the NXT Women's Champion, Lola Weiss, as they're sitting in a room together. So Kendall Gray says what happened last week was an accident, and Lola Weiss tells Kendall she does not care. Lola then says she will not be part of Kendall's redemption story. Kendall Gray then says she saw what Lola did, and she wants to do the same thing Lola did. They then talk about how they are the top two crossover talents in NXT. Lola Weiss then says she will show why she is number one, and Kendall is numero dos, number two. Kendall Gray then says she wants to be at the top of the division, and she needs to win this match. Kendall then says everyone has raised the bar in the women's NXT division. Kendall then says you are number one, tells Lola she is number one for now. Kendall then says, until Sunday, when everyone will see what she can do. Kendall then signs the contract. Lola Bison says Kendall has not done anything that she hasn't already done herself. Lola Bison says they will talk about you and how the women's division is the best in the world. Lola then says you will have your success, but not at the expense and not while she is the women's NXT champion. Lola then says she will beat Kendall Sunday at Great American Bash and retain. Lola then says you will learn how to humble yourself, Kendall. Lola then says you will push the women's division further, but not until she is done. Lola Vice and Kendall Gray have signed the contract. Who will leave Great American Bash Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern as the new NXT Women's Champion? Will it be Lola Vice or will it be the up and coming phenom herself, Kendall Gray? Great contract signing there from the NXT Women's Champion, Lola Vice, and the number one contender, Kendall Gray. Looking forward to that match. Very much so. So then Kiana Carver, he makes his way down to the ring for the next match of the night, followed by EK Prosper. This will be a one-on-one singles match between EK Prosper and Kiana Carver. So the match starts off with both men locking up. Kiana Carver then slams EK Prosper into the mat. Kiana Carver then throws EK Prosper across the ring. Such a mismatch here as Kiana Carver is one big guy. EK Prosper then hits a series of standing drop kicks. EK Prosper then follows it up with a forearm and a missile drop kick. But Kiana Carver is still on his feet. Kiana Carver then continues to assault EK Prosper. EK Prosper then tries to fight back, and he hits Kiana Carver with a moonsault. The fight then spills to the outside. Back in the ring, Kiana Carver hits EK Prosper with a backbreaker, but only for a count of 2. Kiana Carver then throws EK Prosper across the ring. Kiana Carver is now toying with EK Prosper. As I said, this match is a complete mismatch. But then EK Prosper fights back and hits Kiana Carver with the DDT. Kiana Carver then hits another devastating backbreaker and goes for the pin, but Kiana Carver kicks out at a little bit over 1, almost a 2 count. Kiana Carver then slams EK Prosper into the mat, and he follows it up with a release German suplex. EK Prosper then slaps the taste out of Kiana Carver's mouth, and that was a huge mistake. And he follows it up with a Shining Wizard. He then hits a dropkick to Kiana Carver. The fight then spills to the outside, and EK Prosper hits a springboard moonsault. Back in the ring, Kiana Carver hits EK Prosper with a clothesline for another near fall. Both men then exchange strikes in the middle of the ring. EK Prosper then hits a standing drop kick, and he follows it up with a leg drop for only a count of 2. EK Prosper then goes for DDT, but Kiana Carver blocks it and hits a shoulder block. But then EK Prosper gets the roll up for the 1, 2, 3 in a shocking victory. EK Prosper has defeated the monstrous Kiana Carver in a massive upset. just could not believe it. The true Keanu Carver. Huge upset. And Keanu Carver has completely lost it after the match. Keanu Carver completely lays waste to EK Prosper and sends him crashing through the announce desk. Keanu Carver is not happy about that roll up and about being upset by EK Prosper. Probably not the last we've seen of EK Prosper and Keanu Carver here on NXT television. So then we see the newly crowned NXT women. She tells Tatum Paxley, the former NXT Women's North American Champion, they were both in other people's shadows to fight for this title. Zarya then says they broke free and stood on their own, and they can call themselves champion. Zarya then says her reign began at the... Zarya then tells Tatum Paxley that my reign began at the expense of yours. Zarya then says you couldn't let things go, and you could not let her enjoy her success. Zarya then says you didn't have to cost her the tag team title match, not title. You didn't have to cost her the tag match last week. Zarya then says you are addicted to pain. Zarya then says she will take a page out of your book. Zarya tells Tatum, she tells Tatum, I will give you a rematch at the Great American Bash to beat you and let you revel in that pain. So it is official for Great American Bash. Zarya who won the NXT Women's North American Championship from Tatum Paxley, will give Tatum Paxley that rematch coming up this Sunday at Great American Bash, as she will go one-on-one with Tatum Paxley, who, in my opinion, this will be Tatum Paxley's last match on the NXT roster before being called up. But definitely looking forward to that match. 7 matches on the card for NXT Great American Bash. So it is on the same day as AEW Forbidden Doors, so that makes a lot of sense. So we go to the back with Robert Stone, the NXT General Manager. And he tells the number one contender for the men's NXT champion, Naraku, he should suspend him for what he did by setting ablaze to the NXT contract, and basically when Tony D opened it up, the fire blew up in his face. Naraku then says you can't do that because there will be no title match that's coming up Sunday. But then the guy that was just defeated by EK Prosper, Keanu Carver, then shows up and says he will go through everyone until he gets his title match. Keanu Carver then says EK Prosper is the first, but he won't be the last. So Keanu Carver has called his shot as being wanting to work through everyone to get a shot at the men's NXT championship. So we will go to the next matchup of the night. And it is the finals of the WWE Women's NXT Speed Tournament, with the winner of this match going on to Great American Bash to face Ren Sinclair for that WWE Women's NXT Speed Championship. Izzy Dame will be going one-on-one with the former TNA Women's Knockouts champion and daughter of Santino Marella, Ariana Grace. Izzy Dame makes her way down to the ring for the next match of the night, accompanied to the ring by the Cullen. as she will be going one-on-one with Ariana Grace, who is accompanied to the ring by Birthright. Winner of this match going on to Great American Bash to face Ren Sinclair for that NXT Women's Speed Championship. Both ladies are in the ring. This match does have a time limit, and so will the match at NXT Great American Bash. So it is 6 matches, but one of the matches will have a short time limit. So it's 5 full matches and 1 match is going to be really short with Ren and whoever wins this match. So the match starts off with Ariana Grace running into a big boot from Izzy Dame. Izzy Dame then drives her shoulder into the midsection of Ariana Grace in the corner. Izzy Dame then hits Ariana Grace with a sit-down powerbomb, goes for the pin, but she kicks out at 2. Ariana Grace then fights back and she hits a senton, but only for a count of 2. Ariana Grace then follows it up with a crossbody. Ariana Grace then hits a pump kick. Grace then heads to the top rope, but Izzy Dame cuts her off from the top rope. Shannon Stacks then gets up on the ring ropes, tries to interfere, but Izzy Dame knocks him off the apron. Ariana Grace then hits Izzy Dame with an elbow and goes for the pin, but Izzy kicks out at 2. Izzy Dame then delivers a big boot, but then Shawn Spears of the Cullen then accidentally causes a distraction, opening up the door. Jesus, my phone. For a side cradle and the 1, 2, 3. Ariana Grace pinned Izzy Dame because of the distraction of the Cullen. So now Ariana Grace has moved on and has won the Speed Tournament and will face Ren Sinclair at Great American Bash for the Women's NXT Speed Championship, which, in my opinion, Ariana Grace will walk out of Great American Bash as the new Women's NXT Speed Champion because she has the absolute numbers game, and Ren Sinclair is just does not. She does not. So, definitely a great accomplishment for Ariana Grace. I feel like she's come a long way in the ring. Plus, she has the backing of the Birthright, and Ren Sinclair has been the Speed Champion for a while. So, I look for a new Women's NXT Speed Champion at Great American Bash. So that was a good match. If you are watching live here on YouTube for the NXT recap, we don't have very many viewers, but if you are watching live, please hit that like button on the YouTube stream as we are streaming from my YouTube channel, my X page, and as always on the DWE Television X page. And if you tuned in earlier on DWE Television, Miami the Great was live with Inside the Mind. So the Speed Tournament is over. Ariana Grace is the new #1 contender for the Speed Championship. So congratulations to her. After the match, though, Izzy Dame really wants to hurt Shawn Spears as he caused a distraction, in which that's why she lost. So we then see Ren Sinclair, the Women's NXT Speed Champion. She makes her way down the aisle. Sarah Schreiber then interrupts Robert Stone, and she asks if there's an update about the title match. Robert Stone says he was talking to Rey Mysterio, and there will be luchadors on the show. Robert Stone then says he will announce Naraku's opponent. The Vanity Project then show up and say they want to know how you can have a Great American Bash without them. Robert Stone tells them to leave. It's like Jackson Drake wants a shot at the NXT Championship. So, going back to it, Izzy Dame and Nico Vance turned on Sean Spears from the Collins. So I said that on Scoops a few weeks ago that was in the works of happening, and it has happened. So then we get another one. We got it on SmackDown, we got it on Raw, and now we get another NXT origin of the goddess herself, Star Alexa. One half of Star Alexa, Alexa Bliss. So then the trio that was made last week when Natty went one-on-one with Jada Parker, we see Nikita Lyons joined by Carmen Petrick, which she made a big name for herself this past weekend on AAA. And they are watching the low-key legend herself, Natty, getting an award. They then walk away while Jada Parker sits down. Bronco Nima and Lucian Price, who also made an impression on AAA this weekend. Bronco and Lucian show up to talk to Jada. Jada says she is not doing okay. Lucian then mentions he saw what Bronco did over the weekend. Bronco Neiman then says they are okay. Jada Parker is going through a rough time after being defeated by the low-key legend last week herself, Natty. So then Sean Spears and Nico Vance are still in the ring for the main event of the night. And Sean Legacy and Dorian Van Doo make their way down to the ring as the Cullen Sean Spears and Nico Vance will be in tag action against Sean Legacy and Dorian Van Doo. Super Sean Legacy. So all four members are in the ring for the main event of the night. The match starts off with Sean Spears and Sean Legacy, and they lock up. Both men then exchange chops. Sean Legacy then stomps on the back of Spears. Nico Vance then comes in and hits a shoulder tackle to Dorian Van Doo. Van Doo then fights back with a Hurricane Rana and then runs into a huge big boot. Van Doo then hits an arm drag, and now Sean Legacy is now the legal man. Sean Legacy then hits a standing moonsault, goes for the pinfall, but it's only for a 2 count. Sean Spears then enters the fray and hits a leg drop to Legacy. All four men are now in the ring. Legacy then hits Spears with a series of chops. Sean Legacy then drops Nico Vance off the apron. Sean Spears then hits a dropkick, sending Legacy to the floor. But then back in the ring for the action, Nico Vance pounds away at Super Sean Legacy. Nico Vance then hits a series of elbows, and he follows it up with a gut wrench suplex. Super Sean Legacy then tries to fight back, but Nico Spears hits him with a backbreaker. Sean Spears then pounds away at Sean Legacy. A lot of Sean's in this match. Nico Vance then hits a headbutt to Sean Legacy. Sean Spears then comes in. Both men are now battling it out on the top rope. And Super Sean Legacy hits a crossbody. Nico Vance then sacrifices himself for Spears. But then Dorian Van Doo hits a Hurricane Rana to Nico Vance. Dorian Van Doo then hits a moonsault, but Nico Vance breaks up the fall. Nico Vance then hits another headbutt to Sean Legacy. Nico Vance then asks for a tag, but Sean Spears ignores him. Here we go. Sean Spears then hits a series of chops, but then Super Sean Legacy then fights back with a Pele kick to the side of the face. Dorian Van Doo then hits another moonsault, wiping out Nico Vance. Back in the ring, Super Sean Legacy hits a 450 splash, and then Van Doo goes up to Dorian Van Doo then goes up to the top rope and hits a shooting star press for the 1, 2, 3. So the winners of this tag team match is Super Sean Legacy and Dorian Van Doo. But this is when it gets interesting, guys. After the match, Nico Vance clotheslines Sean Spears. Nico Vance and so then Izzy Dame gets in the ring. Nico Vance sends Sean Spears out of the ring and puts him crashing through the announce desk. The Cullen has completely imploded. Nico Vance just decimated Sean Spears. So the only thing left of the Cullen is Nico Vance and Izzy Dame. So then Big Joseph and Wade Barrett will then run through the entire card for Sunday's NXT Great American Bash. And I will once again run through that card, as we will be predicting this card tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern live here on the EVP show and a prediction show. But then we then see NXT General Manager Robert Stone walking into the backstage area with the WWE Men's NXT Championship. He will address the main event of the Great American Bash next. We then see NXT General Manager Robert Stone making his way out to the ring. Robert Stone says the match will happen. Robert Stone then brings out Naraku, who caused all of this uncertainty. Naraku says if Stone has no one to face him, he will have the NXT Championship. But out comes Mason Rook. Mason Rook makes his way down to the ring to confront Naraku. Mason Rook says if Tony D'Angelo can't fight for the title, then he will fight Naraku. Mason Rook then says he wants to run it back with Naraku for the NXT Championship. But then out comes Vanity Project and Jackson Drake. He makes his way out with Vanity Project and says Rook doesn't deserve a shot at the NXT Championship. Jackson Drake then calls himself a main event talent. Mason Rook then says he has heard enough. Mason Rook then lays waste to Jackson Drake, and he takes the fight to the outside. Naraku then says there is still no one to challenge him and asks Robert Stone to hand over the men's NXT championship to him. Robert Stone then says it was never supposed to be Mason Rook or Jackson Drake. And then out comes your NXT men's champion, who has a lot of bandages wrapped over his face for where he was burned earlier from Naraku. Tony D'Angelo then makes his way out. Tony D'Angelo is firing with all cylinders into the ring. Super mad. D'Angelo punches Naraku. Naraku then punches back and rakes the eyes that was just burned by Naraku. Both men are now trading strikes in the middle of the ring. D'Angelo then goes for a dead to rights, but Naraku fights out of it and he retreats. Tony D'Angelo then poses with the NXT Championship and stands tall as the show comes to a close. And Wrestling 101 says the person that stands tall on the go home show likely is not to win the championship. So in my opinion, we will see a new men's NXT champion at Great American Bash in the form of Naraku. There was no matches announced for NXT next week, but we will go ahead again and go over the card for the NXT Great American Bash before we get out of here, guys. Really good show tonight. Let's see. So, all right, for the men's NXT Championship. Don't know if Tony D'Angelo is going to be in the best shape, but Tony D'Angelo will defend the men's NXT Championship against Naraku. The women's NXT title will be on the line as Lola Vice goes one-on-one with Kendall Gray for the women's NXT championship. The men's NXT North American Championship will be on the line as Miles Bourne will defend against his friend Tavion Heights. The women's NXT North American Championship will also be on the line in a rematch. Zarya will defend against the former NXT Women's North American Champion Tatum Paxley. The women's NXT Speed Championship will also be on the line as Ren Sinclair will defend against Ariana Grace. And then the two singles matches. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 title matches coming up Sunday at NXT Great American Bash. And then the 2 matches that are not for the title will be Saquon Sugars going one-on-one with Dion Lennox, and Shallow Hill goes one-on-one with Mr. English himself, Tristan Angels. And that is your NXT Great American Bash coming up Sunday, June 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the first WWE NXT PLE to stream live on the CW network. With that being said, guys, this has been your NXT recap live here on the EVP show, Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. And once again, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, we are live here on the EVP show. If you are watching live on the EVP show on my YouTube channel, please hit that like button. It helps me out in the algorithm as well as it just helps my channel overall. So let's try to get those like buttons up, especially for all these big PLEs coming up. I'm hoping to put up some great numbers this week, as this is a 7-day streaming week. We're also live on my Twitter page, and also on DWE Television X page as well. Make sure you follow DWE Television X page, where you will find Miami the Great. Make sure you follow him on X, as he does Inside the Mind with Miami, covering everything, getting ready for the next NFL season, where me and him will pick up around September for Doubleheader Tuesday, where we will be recapping each week of the NFL season. But that show is Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Also, Final Boss Baby with 2 B's. They are the duo of Talk It Up podcast. Make sure you follow both of them on X. Hit that like and subscribe button to Talk It Up podcast on YouTube. I don't think they will be doing it this Saturday with Night of Champions happening in Saudi Arabia at 1 p.m. Eastern Saturday. But normally they do DW radios on Saturday. It is always streamed on the DW Television X page, Talk It Up podcast on YouTube, also on Twitch at DW TV and DW Television, and also on Spotify. As I mentioned at the beginning as well, Kyle the Man Anthony will be having his second episode of the Queens of DWE tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the DWE Television X page. Make sure you tune in to that. I will be a special guest for episode 2 of Queens of DWE. I will be going straight from the prediction show to Kyle's Queens of WWE episode 2 tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, Kyle's partner, The World of Greg, and also who also helps Miami the Great out with my videos that are made for my upcoming streams. Kyle the Man Anthony and The World of Greg, they have the rundown, which happens every Monday, entire rundown of the Monday Night Raw program, everything that's going to happen on Monday Night Raw. We saw Director Red fill in for Greg yesterday, for the rundown. He did a fantastic job. So shout out and kudos to Greg for filling in. That's what we do here at DWE. We always are supporting each other. If one person can't make it, we are going to find a way to make it work. So shout out to Director Reg for a heck of a job yesterday on the rundown. But you can always catch the world of Greg and Kyle the Man Anthony every Monday, an hour before Monday Night Raw comes on, as they will be running down the entire Monday Night Raw card for you guys. So also make sure you follow Director Reg on X, After the Slam podcast on X, and also on YouTube. You can subscribe to him on YouTube, the Smoke Sessions podcast, and also Sports Jedi Network. So this is your NXT recap, Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. I will be back shortly to tell you guys where you can find me on my socials and what I have coming up for you guys the rest of this week. And as this is a 7-day week here on the EVP show.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go, show recap prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recap Prediction Sports. Let go.
All right, once again, guys, thank you for tuning in to the NXT recap live here on the EVP show Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. If you are watching live on YouTube, please hit that like button. And if you are able to go back and watch this stream live on my YouTube channel, leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought. Tell me what you thought about the NXT show that took place tonight. As far as my social, and before I get to that, if you are subscribed to the EVP show, turn that notification bell on, and you will be notified of when I go live. And come and join me, especially this week, as I will be putting out 7 day. It will be a 7-day week of your daily wrestling content. So let's get to the socials, guys. So it is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. But you can find me on all of my socials. All my links are in my bio. But let's start off with Twitter/X. So if you're looking for me on X, you can find me at the EVP show. Once you follow me on X, I'll follow you back. If you go all the way up to the top of my X page, you will see my YouTube page pinned at the top. If you have any friends and family, if you enjoy my daily wrestling content, retweet that post. Help me get to 300 subscribers, guys. I'm at 229. This channel has grown 229 subscribers, and it's not even a year old yet. So thank you so much to you guys for that, your support, and showing up to, make me feel good and to listen to all my daily wrestling content. I definitely appreciate you guys. On Instagram, you can find me at EVP2JP. Once again, like I said earlier, Miami the Great and the World of Greg make my upcoming videos for my upcoming streams. So follow me on Instagram at EVP2JP. You can also see my YouTube linked in the bio at the top of my Instagram page. TikTok as well. You can find me on TikTok at Brady the Goat 21. Again, that's at Brady the Goat 21. That's at BRADYDA Goat 21. Last but not least, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you are not able to find my YouTube channel on any of my social media platforms, go to the search bar and type in at the EVP show. I am at 229 subscribers and would love to get closer to 300, maybe 250, and we will work toward ultimate goal here on the EVP show is to get to 500 subscribers. So let's do what we can do to try to help me get to 500 subscribers. If you already are subscribed to me, please turn the notification bell on and come join us, especially this week for the 7 days of wrestling content. What I have coming up next for you guys, set that notification bell on and come join me and 8 others. Unfortunately, This will be the first prediction show in a long time that I have not been able to secure a full panel, which is strange because this is a triple header prediction show. But come join me and 8 others tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, as we will be predicting the AEW Forbidden Door, the NXT Great American Bash, and the WWE Night of Champions prediction show. Set the reminders to come join us. Put all your predictions if you can't join us. Put your predictions in the comments and tell us what you think and your predictions on all 3 of these fantastic cards coming up this weekend, as well as TNA Slammiversary, but we just don't have the time to predict that. But we do have 4 outstanding shows coming up this weekend. So set your reminders for that and join us tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern for the AEW Forbidden Door, NXT Great American Bash, and the WWE Night of Champions prediction show. Thursday night, I'm back. It is the Go Home show right before TNA Slammiversary. Join me at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time Thursday night for the TNA Impact Recap Show. Friday night, it is the Go Home show right before Night of Champions. Join me at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I know it was taped. It's all over the internet, but it will be live on USA Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And that's when I will watch it, and that's when I will cover it. So join me Friday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the SmackDown Recap Show. Saturday, I'm not normally live. Saturday is normally an off day, but guess what? This is a 7-day week. I will be going live Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time Saturday night. WWE Night Champions will be live at 1 p.m. Eastern from Saudi Arabia, but I will give everybody a little bit of time to settle in from the PLE, and I will go live Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the WWE Night of Champions recap show. And then normally it's a doubleheader Sunday, but there will not be a Sunday Night Scoop Sunday, nor will there be a LFG recap Sunday. But don't get sad because I'm still going to be streaming NXT Great American Bash this Sunday, and also AEW Forbidden Door, and I believe TNA Slammiversary as well. But join me Sunday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, as I will be going over all 7 matches that happened on NXT Great American Bash at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for your NXT Great American Bash recap show. With that being said, guys, this has been your NXT. That is the rest of the week, which is a lot. So you will see me every single day this week. God willing, but you will see me every day this week for daily wrestling content. And once again, set that reminder and join us tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time with 8. I will be joined by 8 of my fellow colleagues here in the YouTube community for the AEW Forbidden Door, NXT Great American Bash, and the WWE Night of Champions prediction show tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. With that being said, guys, I am the EVP from the EVP Show and the golden boy of DWE, and DWE is the place to be. Have a happy Wednesday, a happy hump day. Set that notification bell on and come join us, even if you're in the comments, for this huge prediction show tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, as we predict the NXT Great American Bash, WWE United Champions, and AEW Forbidden Door. With that being said, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow night for the Trifecta prediction show at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Good night, everyone.